How's it going, guys? Cameron here, Canadian Gamer. Haven't done one of these vlogs in a while. Cooking and ranting. We're gonna head out on the road in a minute. I'm gonna go out to the pawn shop. I want to see if there's been an influx of 8th gen games that have been dumped because of the 9th gen consoles that everybody's buying up. So that's not the main focus of today's video. The main focus, I want to talk about a little bit of a rant. So I don't know if it's like this with the Series X, but with the PS5, Sony's given the developers the option of whether or not their game runs at 4K at 60 frames per second, or you can play your game at 120 frames per second, but then it only runs at 1080p. That pisses me off. I don't like that one bit. So anyways, let's hit the road and let's talk about this. Alright, so we're out on the road here, and again, headed out to the pawn shop. Not the main focus of today's video, but it'll be kind of interesting to see if anyone has dumped off their collection. There's a few games that I've been really trying to track down, so I'm kind of excited for that. But the main focus of today's video, and again, I'm limited in scope as to what I can say because I don't have a next-gen console, but maybe you guys can talk about this amongst yourselves in the comments, and maybe you can educate me on the subject as well. But I don't know if the Series X is like this, but it is like this with the PS5. So Sony, it's my understanding, again, I could be wrong on this, they've given the developers this option, I guess, within the PS5, whereas most games, when you play your game, you've got two options. You can either play your game at 120 frames per second or 60 frames per second. Now, if you play your game at 120 frames per second, you cannot play the game in 4K. You have to play it in 1080p. If you play the game in 4K, then you have to go down to 60 frames per second. Oh my god, 60 frames per second. Wasn't it only a couple of years ago games used to only be 30? I know games back on the Super NES occasionally had 60 frames per second, and on the Genesis, but those were different times as well. I guess what I'm getting at is, number one, I don't understand why these next-gen consoles can't play games in 4K at 120 frames per second. You mean to tell me these brand new consoles that cost over $700 Canadian are not powerful enough to play a game in 120 frames per second at 4K? Are you fucking kidding me? You know, that's like, maybe this is a bad analogy, but it's like, I like Hawaiian pizza. You know, it's like, okay, you want Hawaiian pizza? Well, you can have your onions on the pizza and pineapple, but you can't have them sitting on the pizza on top of each other. You can have maybe half the pizza's got pineapple and the other half has onion. I don't understand. It blows my mind. Me, you know, as a guy that loves graphics, a graphics whore, I can't imagine sacrificing, you know, because I think some of the graphics could be downgraded as well when this transpires, when you go down to when you go up to 120 frames per second, excuse me. I think there's something like the God rays or the ray tracing might get diminished. Again, I could be wrong, let me know. But I can't understand why you would want to sacrifice the graphics in a game for better frame rate. But at the same time, if you're playing a game that can run at 120 frames per second, why on earth would you want to go down to 60 frames per second? I don't quite understand that. I really don't like how Sony is putting a gun to your head and you have to choose one or the other. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. You should be able to do both of those at 4K at 120 frames per second, or just fuck off altogether and just put it at 4K 60 frames per second. I don't know how it works. Figure it out, Sony. But I think that is absolutely ridiculous that you have to spend all this money on an next-gen console and it can't even run a game at 4K 120 frames per second at the same time. And you're given this greasy ultimatum as a game player. You have to make this moral decision, moral dilemma as to which way you want to play your game. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. If I were playing the game, I wouldn't know which option to choose. Honestly, I think I'd probably just go 60 frames per second, 4K gaming. But again, a little off topic. I don't even know if my TV that I own can run these games at 120 frames per second. I'm not quite sure how it works. I don't have HDR, so am I out of the loop on this one, guys? Do I need a new TV? So that's my beef. And again, I don't want to pin this on Sony. Maybe Microsoft is the same way, but I really do not like how they're forcing the consumer to either choose 4K at 60 frames per second or 1080p at 120. I think that's inexcusable for a brand new console in 2020 to not be able to have the capabilities of doing both. So let me know in the comments below. Again, if I'm off base on this, I apologize. This is kind of a rant I've been wanting to do here for a couple of days, but it's been really chapping my ass to the point I honestly don't want to buy a next-gen console because of this thing where they're making you choose between one or the other. It really irks me that much. Maybe it doesn't bother you that much, and maybe it's just my OCD kicking in, but yeah, leave it in the comments below. I'm just about at the pawn shop, and when I get back, we'll finish this video off and I'll show you what I picked up. Stay tuned. Alright, so we're at the pawn shop. I'm going to go in just a moment. One other thing I wanted to mention, a little bit off topic. I saw a video review for the new Call of Duty Cold War game. Is that what it's called? Gotta say, it actually looks really good. At least the single player campaign does. I think it takes place in the 80s. And not only that, it's not all gun-based combat. There's different missions where it's not about using your gun. It's about stealth. It really looks good. I'm not going to go out and pay full retail for a Call of Duty game. But when that goes on sale, it's funny. The other one that came out there, what was it? World War II Call of Duty? That one looked like it had a real good single player campaign as well. So yeah, good stuff. Good to see that, you know, the company behind Call of Duty or whoever's developing it is trying to think outside the box. And more importantly, it's nice to see that they're maintaining the single player campaign in the Call of Duty games. So that's great to see. All right. Something ain't right here. Time to shed a little bit of light on this situation. Oh, that's better. So let me show you what I picked up and we'll end this video. Now, I do want to mention before I show you my pickups, I saw on Twitter MJR, he posted a No Friday video. I've been game hunting in, I think he said Oregon all week, so I haven't had time to post my Friday video. I told you guys, what was it, like a week ago? He's burned out. He can't keep up with his the demands that he's putting on himself and the expectations that he's putting on his audience. So there you have it. He's collecting money from Patreon and donations and all the rest of it, and he can't even keep up with his promise to post 2 videos a week. So let me show you my pickups here. Now, as I said, kudos to all you out there that are jumping in head first, early adopters of the 9th generation. I couldn't be more happy for you. Again, you know, donate all your games to the thrift store. You know, trade in all your games at EB Games for nothing so you can get these consoles. And then you'll have these vultures like myself swoop in and cherry pick all these primo titles for the Xbox One and the PS4. So now it's a great time to be a collector for the Xbox One and again the PS4, and this is no different. These are some prime examples right here. Now I popped this in last night. I haven't played it in a couple years, and I forgot how damn creepy this game is. I'm surprised I didn't put it on my creepiest games of all time list. And that's The Evil Within. This is for the 360. It did come out on the Xbox One as well, but I'm happy with this version of it. Man, let me tell you, the introduction is so creepy in this game. Good Lord. So, started playing it last night. And when I went to the hawk shop, to the pawn shop today, they had The Evil Within 2. Now, it got pretty good acclaim when it came out, was it a year ago? A year and a half ago? But I haven't played it. So, I was able to pick it up for $20. And check it out. Look at the reverse cover art, just like the original. This one's got reverse artwork as well, and I think it looks absolutely incredible. It looks awesome. So you've got, you know, the artwork on the front, black on the back, black spine. If you're putting it in your on your bookshelf, excuse me. So yeah, pretty happy to have this. I don't know why I'm showing you the insides because there's not much to it these days, is there? Can't wait to jump into that one of these days. And the last one here. Now this is kind of pissed me off for the longest time. I feel like with Forza Motorsport 4, like maybe it's just my OCD, the purple Kinect on the top. It feels like I own a Kinect game in my collection. I've always really disliked the fact that they put the Kinect on the cover of this game. So I couldn't believe it. For $4.99, they had the steelbook of Forza Motorsports 4. Now I knew there was a collector's edition of Forza Motorsports 4. I didn't really necessarily know about the steelbook. So for $4.99, it's got the game disc in it. I don't need it because I already have the game. So I'll take this out and put it in the other case and I'll resell it. Or if any of you out there don't have Forza Motorsport 4, hit me up on Twitter and I'll see what I can do for you. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Nice steelbook. One of the better racing games on the 360. There's so many good games on that platform, on that console, excuse me. And Forza Motorsport 4 is arguably the best Forza out of them all. So I'm really happy to have this for $5, cheap as chips, can't go wrong. I did get back, the guy that I was in communication with that was selling the Gears of War Xbox 360 did get back to me. He doesn't have the red controllers anymore for the console. He just has the console. So I don't know, I might pass on it. I already have a couple of 360s. I don't really necessarily need another one. Again, the price, $80 for the console. Not a bad deal, but I think I'll just hold off on that for now. So that's going to do it right around the 5-minute mark here since we came back to the games. So I'm going to cut it off here. You people are wonderful and beautiful. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. Have a good weekend.
There's been like one comparison video that one guy, Nick930, made a really shitty video, and he like takes one isolated piece of the road. Oh, the road looks worse in this remaster than the other one. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He takes it completely out of context. Showing a true comparison of how the original looks versus the new one, and there's much more detail. The cars, the metallics look much more realistic. The reflections looking through the glass look more realistic. Light blooming where there's like slight halos of like a rainbow around the headlights. So be careful who you listen to, because either there's people that actually have experience, that know what they're talking about, that have played it since 2010 and know every inch of this game backwards and forwards. And there's those that have never played it, that posture as if they actually know what they're talking about when they don't.